I've spent the last year putting the pieces of my life back together after I lost everything in my six-figure marketing business. Yeah, I loved that agency. And now I'm taking my decade plus of traditional marketing experience, combining it with the latest online marketing techniques and starting again from scratch. The question is, how will I do it? With the new challenges like cash flow, debt, and no team. This podcast is here to give you the answer, so join me and follow along as I apply and share marketing strategies to grow my online business using only the simplest, most uncomplicated methods. My name is Samantha Gooden, and welcome to Marketing Launch Radio.
Go for it. All right, welcome to Marketing Launch Radio. Now I know you hear me say that I'm thrilled and excited, but today I am like, I want to scream because this is so amazing. I've got Alex S. Elliott with me, people. Alex S. Elliott. Okay, so Alex is awesome and amazing. And listen, my adjectives are failing me. So let me share with you just a really quick story. As you know, the reason that this podcast is here is because I'm sharing with you my story of coming from absolute nothing and learning stuff about the online game. But it was Alex who really changed my life. She has the One Group Away challenge. And at the time, I just wanted to have an online community that I could connect with. Alex not only created a powerful community, but a program that showed me how to use online tools like Facebook. So Alex, thank you so much on behalf of hundreds and thousands of us. I mean, congratulations, your Facebook group just got to 4,000, right? Mm-hmm. Thousands of us who continue to be impacted by you every single day. Welcome to Marketing Launch Radio.
Thank you so much. That's probably the best intro I've ever gotten because it's the most authentic, and and I remember this story. Like, I remember you coming into the challenge. I remember you had this small group. I think it was like you were building up to 300, if I remember correctly.
No, I wasn't even there, Alex. I was just at 76. And it was a dormant group.
Yes, you revived a dead group. Yeah. That's right. But I remember the 300 number sticks out because I remember like you hit that milestone when you were in the program, and it was so exciting. And you actually monetized a group of 300 people, if I remember correctly.
I did. You are so right. I actually got to over $5,000 in 48 hours in a group of under 300 people. Yeah.
I mean, can we cut that clip? It's a great testimonial. I mean, whoa, so cool, right? So it's like you just blew out of the water all the naysayers who like, oh yeah, I can't monetize my group because it's small. That's not true. It's not about the numbers in your group. It's about the relationship that you have with people and the way in which you cultivate that, and the offers, the irresistibility of the offers that you make to them, right? And the audience offer match. So when those things align, magic can happen, as you proved, as you live.
Can I just say that magic is happening here, and we're not even 5 minutes into this podcast yet?
Started. So exciting. I mean, I can't even stand it. So exciting, girl. So exciting.
Alex, so you're one of my coaches, you're one of my mentors, and you're one of my inspirations, right? So I'm totally geeking out right now on your story. And one of the things that's so thrilling to me about your story is that you're an overnight success. You are presently being, asked to go on stages all over the world. I mean, thanks to where we are, some of those stages are virtual stages, but nonetheless,
at this point, let's go.
You're invited to events all over the world to share, not just in the online marketing space, but in affiliate marketing space. But your background is in the medical field, right?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Okay. So, in a nutshell, my professional background, I'm a board certified nurse practitioner. I was an ICU nurse for 10 years. Wow. Like I have spent the greater part of my adult life in medicine. And, that seems like an unlikely place from which to birth an internet marketer. But, for literally the last, I'm 44 years old. So since I turned 30, I had a very distinct experience when I turned 30. I turned 30 and I had what probably John Mayer would call a quarter life crisis, right? Like I just, I had this moment where I was like, is this it? Is this my trajectory? Is this what I'm doing? Like, I had this deep knowing and calling and longing for more. And I wanted more impact. I wanted more influence. I wanted more income. I wanted just to do more with this one precious life that I had. Yes. And I just felt like I wasn't I wasn't living up to my own standards, or I wasn't living up to the calling that I felt in my heart. And so I really began to struggle with that. And I thought, okay, I've got to make it online. And I didn't know what make it online even looked like. I had no concept of what that meant. I just knew that that's where I belonged. And so I started to research and dig and try to figure it out. And I'd spend nights and weekends, and I'd miss birthday parties and weddings and all the going out and hanging out with my friends. Like I missed so much of that because I was trying to figure it out. My version of trying to figure out was taking every course under the sun, every coaching program. I mean, I joke, like I have spent, it's real. I have spent multiple six figures over a decade and a half trying to figure this out in a really earnest way. But I found a fatal flaw in my heretofore plan. And that was, I chased a lot of rabbits. And as the saying goes, he who chases two rabbits catches none. And so I chased many rabbits on my path to trying to make it. There was a lot of shiny object syndrome. And unfortunately, I ended up, as we do when we chase multiple rabbits or serve multiple masters, we ended up spinning our wheels. And I spun and spun and spun and spun and couldn't figure out why I wasn't having success. Well, if I would have just stuck at something long enough, I might have actually had the success I was seeking. But, I didn't. I learned a wonderful lesson. I read a book, I believe it's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
Oh, yes!
I think that was actually the book that really turned things around for me. And he talks about how, the farmer doesn't like plant the seeds and then like yell at the soil when the seeds don't immediately sprout, right? Like the farmer knows that there's time and there's process and there's a season. And we have forgotten in this like microwave age where we can have everything instantly that, oh gosh, I'm not a millionaire in 3 weeks. Well, this is a scam. It doesn't work. Are you kidding me? Like no other time in history has anyone been so impatient. So it takes patience, it takes process, it takes commitment to this process, and understanding that, simple, daily, consistent action is the actual lever that moves the needle and that actually creates success over time. And so, but we forget that over time part of the equation. And we just think we should be able to like press a button and money should rain from the sky and something's wrong if it doesn't. That's not actually how things work. So I had to learn that lesson, that that's not actually how things work and that actually things take time and you need to focus and all that fun stuff. So it took a little time, but finally, after a good 14 years, I did learn that lesson.
This is what's so cool though, right? Because you are the overnight success after 14 years. Right. So when I see what people are saying about you online, in groups, just the way it's kind of adulation. So we were at Funnel Hacking Live together and you were like a freaking rock star. No, we could not walk with you without being stopped every day. Hi, Alex. Oh, Alex. Oh, Alex. It was like,
people were so nice. I've never been treated like that before. It was so star and wonderful all at once. I would go back to my hotel room and be like, I don't deserve this. This is amazing. Like, Alex, just wow, so nice.
But it's because of who you are. It's because of the way that you show up, and it's because of the way that you continually give, right? In everything that you do, you give into your group. And this thing about consistency, you do. That's the thing, like, other than the fact that you're such a bright, shining light. And that's one of the things that I want to emulate about
and
you.
You do very well, might I say.
Thank you from you. The other thing is the power of your consistency, right? So I feel as if sometimes I'm kind of spinning my top in mud, as Trinis would say, which just means I get stuck in the mud and then I get stuck in my own head and I have to get out of there. And in the midst of that, I get, I lose traction, lose my own momentum, but you have kept the momentum going. So what is it, how have you done that throughout this 14-year journey of yours where, you start and stop, you stopped following the rabbits, how did you find the right rabbit? How did you get unstuck?
Such a good question. Oh my gosh. So I was hoping you'd ask that question because that's the right question to ask. It shows like you're trying to get to the truth, right? So how did I figure out which rabbit? Two things I think immediately come to mind. And number one is, and I've talked about this before, I call it the blessing of desperation. So I got into a situation financially that was without mincing word, like the single most desperate financial situation I have ever in my life found myself in. We're talking, I had burned through all of my savings. I had burned through all the credit cards that I had access to. I had burned through my 401k. I'm talking, I had put myself against the wall. And now we were down to the very last $1,000 that my wife and I together could scrape together. That was it. There was no reserve. There was no like, nothing was going to catch us. That was it. And from that place, that's actually the place I came across One Funnel Away Challenge. I read a blog post by Chris Fong. I'll never forget it. And he was talking about this amazing new challenge, the One Funnel Away Challenge, and how it changed his business and changed all these other people's businesses. And I read it with such earnest interest. And I was like, wow. And I just thought, you know, like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. And I'd had that feeling of maybe this is it before. I'd even had the conversation with my wife. No, babe, this is it. This is it. Right? Like, how many of us have had that conversation 19 times? And our spouse is like, really? Is this really it? Like, because you said that 10 times ago. Like, right? So, been there. And so I was like, no, but this time it's different. Da, da, da. And actually, this time it was different. I did not have the luxury of failure. This time it had to be different. This time I had to show up as a completely different person. And it's very funny. You and I were talking about this offline. People often say to me, oh yeah. This success is okay for you because you're you. You're okay on camera. You're good. You're better. And I'm like, you don't know me at all. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I had to craft this. I wasn't born like this. If you knew me, like, I'll be really honest with you. Like, I'm the girl, I was the principal's daughter in junior high school. I'm the girl that nobody wanted to sit with at lunch. I'm the girl who got made fun of. I had terrible acne. I had a 4.0 and I was a nerd. Like, nobody wanted to be my friend. I grew up with extreme insecurity, extreme feelings of unworthiness. Like, I self-isolated. I was shy. I was introverted. And so that's who had to change. That girl who wanted to hide behind Shopify stores and never show her face. That girl who wanted to flip things on eBay because then she didn't have to show her face. That girl who, you know, had an Amazon FBA store because she never wanted to show her face. I never wanted to do anything that showed my face. I hid and hid and hid and hid and hid. And it took the desperateness of that situation that made me realize, you got to stop hiding, girl. You gotta rise up. You gotta become somebody different. And so I crafted this character that you see before you. This character didn't exist until she had to exist. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
There's
totally.
a lot of people
Woo! Okay, so because I talk about the attractive character here, and I share about it in my community. So that's it. You said there were two things. So because I was going to jump into the blessing of desperation, but there are two things.
Yeah. So the blessing of desperation, and then the ability to listen. So you said something like, how did you know what your one thing was? I initially didn't. So initially I was like, what's the fastest path to cash? Okay, cool. Affiliate marketing. Like, that was my big decider. Like, I was desperate. I'd love to say that I came in with some grand plan or some altruistic plan. I didn't. I was completely selfish. I was like, oh, holy crap. We have to pay our bills. What's the fastest path to cash? It looked like affiliate marketing. And oh, cool. There's this thing called ClickFunnels and there's recurring income. Sweet. I only have to work once and I get paid over and over. Like, sign me up. Like, that was the motivation. Not gonna lie. Like, that was how I got into this world. So jumped into affiliate marketing. And then I was like, oh, you mean I can also sell like autoresponders, they're recurring. I was just looking for the thing that was going to build my MRR, my monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah.
So that I could pay my bills. And my big goal when I got started was like, if I could just make $5,000 a month, like that was just my big, if I could just make $5,000 a month, that's all I wanted in my life. Right. And I remember just being obsessed about that number. And so like, that was it. I was going after all the affiliate, I was putting different affiliate offers together to like stack all the MRR to see how many I could do. You know, it was just crazy. Like, that was my motivation getting started. I ended up, you know, as I was going through the One Funnel Away Challenge, two things happened. Number one, I'll never forget Steve Larson saying, publish daily, publish daily, publish daily. He goes, if you publish daily for 365 days in a row, you will never go hungry.
Never.
That was at a time when we didn't even have money for like groceries. Like my mom was buying us groceries and I'm like, I am hungry and I don't want to go hungry anymore. So like I said, I'm going to publish. So you asked me about that consistency. That consistency came from a terrified place, a place of I don't want to starve, a place of Steve Larson told me to show up every day. So I got to show up every day. I don't want to starve. Right. And I've kept that intensity. And I even talked about this in a video I'm grabbing my phone because I talked about this in a video in my group where I talked about removing the Stripe notifications from my phone. Because when I see Stripe notifications of money coming in, it makes me complacent. And I need to act as if I don't have any Stripe notifications.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry, baby.
Yeah.
Because when I'm hungry, I'm unstoppable. I'm fierce. I am like, yeah, you can't mess with me. When I get like a fat cat and I'm complacent, I ease off the gas. It's human nature.
Yeah.
So, I've got to control my environment such that I stay hungry. Because when I'm hungry, I'm good.
Alex, I've got a whole notebook of notes here.
I love this.
Because this thing about staying hungry is also what keeps us out of the inertia and keeps us in momentum.
Amen.
You talk about this thing of transitioning, and you have transitioned through. Okay, so yes, you were the certified nurse practitioner, came to the online world. You did ClickFunnels, affiliate
marketing.
You then created your own program. And this is the program. This is the One Group Away Challenge, which is where I would have met you. You did multiple six figures in that, right?
I did. Absolutely. And so the interesting thing, which was actually, I need to circle back because it was the answer to your question was, how did you find your thing? The One Group Away Challenge. I listened to my people. So as I was doing all this affiliate marketing, I was building my tribe because he said, build your audience first, then your offer. I was like, okay, cool. So I was building my audience and I was using affiliate marketing to help build this audience, build this list, build this group, right? I'm building. And then I just start ask campaigns. I'm like, what do you guys need help with? How can I help you? What do you want to learn? What do you need support with? Just constantly asking my tribe, what do you need? Resoundingly, they would come back to me and say, how are you building this group so fast? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't really know. I'm just kind of like modeling all the people I see in the space with big groups. And I'm kind of just throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall and testing things. But I got that question enough that I was like, shoot, I better go like formalize my knowledge around this. Like I better see what's up. So I did what every good entrepreneur does. You pull out your wallet and you go funnel hack people. And I started like looking at all the different courses and taking them. And I got myself the mentor, and he's not even in the MMO space. He runs like diet and health groups, and he's got a group in the millions, like all this stuff. So I was just studying really successful Facebook group owners. Like, what are these guys doing that I can model? Turned out I was actually already doing a lot of the things that they were doing. I just didn't know what it was called. I didn't have a fancy branded name for it. Like, there's not that many ways to do things when you own a group. So I started mixing and matching and taking what worked and discarding what didn't and testing and optimizing, and once I got a system that was working for me, then I was like, okay, cool. I can go back to my people. And I created the One Group Away Challenge. Truthfully, I created it for my DM hosts, for my digital marketing hacks, for online entrepreneurs Facebook group. I had no clue that it was going to. I only ever launched it to my Facebook group and my email list. I never ran ads. I never did anything crazy. I just launched it there, and it, because we had a lot of affiliates, they went out and spread the word, and it just kind of blew up. So yeah.
So, because I'm tracking the journey. I'm tracking the journey because that's where I kind of got introduced to you.
Yeah.
But then something else kind of blew up for you. You started shifting the message. Oh, let me not even say shifting the message. You started building out your value ladder in the upper tier of the value ladder.
Premium tier, exactly.
Yeah. So how did you start this premium tiering in your business?
So I'm going to be super vulnerable and super honest right now. And this may like hurt some people's feelings or whatever. That's okay. Because one of my highest values is honest, clear, direct communication and always said in love. And that is this. I gave everything to OGAC. I mean, we launched it there was 3 challenges, $100 per challenge, right? So it was in essence, a $300 product. Then we ended up bumping the prices a little bit and finally settled at combining the entire thing into a 30-day challenge and a price of $497. We were providing, like, I was paying other coaches. I had a live Facebook Lives video coach in there. I had some other coaches in there. I was in there all the time. We were just providing all the support. And what I found was that all that support at a $497 price point, everybody was getting paid but me.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting paid but me.
Yeah.
All the customers were getting all kinds of value. My coaches were getting paid.
Yeah.
My bills were getting paid. My team members were getting paid. But at the end of the day, I wasn't getting paid. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? You gotta be kidding me that I'm not getting paid for this. So I got a little miffed that I wasn't getting paid at the end of the day, that there was enough to cover all the bills. But like at the end of the day, I had bled for this thing. And I was like, oh. So super frustrating experience, but super great experience. I would never have it any other way. Because I'm the kind of person who's pretty much has to learn my lessons on my own. Little thick-skulled. So I like to actually go put my hand on the fire just to make sure it's hot, right? Like that. So I had to learn this lesson in my DNA that if you are going to provide that level of support, and guess what? That's who I am. I love providing that level of support. That's where I light up. That's where I'm fulfilled. So I have to provide that level of support. It's how I'm wired, but I just can't do it for a low ticket offer. It's just not going to work, right? I ended up resenting people. I really did. I ended up resenting people. So because it's like they'd spend $100 on the challenge and just want to blow up my DMs all day. And I'd be like, nah, a little rough, you know what I mean? So like a little hard. So, and they'd want like private coaching. I'm like, I don't know what you think this is, or it ain't gonna work like that. So we had to switch things up a little bit and get into the higher tiers where the math actually made sense for everybody involved. And once the math made sense, man, there's no resentment. There is just pure all-out service. Like you just play all out. And so I feel like it is my moral obligation to offer high ticket, offers to the world, because guess what? That's where I come out to play. That's where I can serve best. That's where there's nothing clouding the relationship, and I'm all yours. Like, let's go, and I am just fully, wholeheartedly invested in your success and can just give from a place of like just pure service. So it's just a relationship that is more, there's a more equal value exchange, as it were. And it just works better. And I am more effective for my clients at that price point. They have more skin in the game, therefore they take it more seriously and are more effective.
Okay. So I have seen this happen over and over. One of the coaches in your high ticket program, which I also happen to be in, Brooke always says, a $500 client is going to act like a $500 client. And there, this isn't to say I'm the girl who, just like you, I could barely buy groceries. In fact, there are times now, because of the way that I'm still investing in myself, sometimes I'm still like, I wonder what I'll eat today, because I don't have any money to go. But I'm doing that purposely because I want to put myself under this pressure, because I want to invest in myself. Right? That's where I am. But so this isn't to make those who may say, oh my God, I don't have $500. What are you talking about? But the transition to the high ticket creates this kind of space where people are thinking differently. They are also responding differently, and they're taking responsibility for their actions.
Amen.
Right?
As a member of the High Ticket Offer Accelerator, the group that you're in right now, can you comment on the difference in environment and quality of client and quality of exchange and questions and responsibility taking and all the things inside of that group versus the $500 OGAC, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
completely different, but also the nature of the relationships that you develop is also completely different.
Amen.
Because the individuals and I love the OGAC community, right?
Yeah,
I need to say that.
Yeah.
right? I absolutely love the OGAC community, and the OGAC community, many of the individuals out of there have actually come into my other coaching program, right?
Absolutely.
My
And many people form my coaching program. So
Yes!
it's been a great feeder band, but a program like that allows the wheat to separate from the chaff. And then the wheat goes on, you know, and so you do have just a higher caliber of business person who is more serious
Mhm.
and more willing to go the distance and do what it takes.
So it feels to me like we're now shifting this conversation into business model, into, you know, business model choice. What choice of business model are you going to have, right? So very often, you know, in traditional business methodology, you're told, oh, you know, you should only have a premium business, or you should have a low ticket business, or you should have high value business. But here we have kind of a matrixed approach to business based on the approach to your value ladder, right?
Absolutely.
So for you, as the person who has created a multi-six-figure course, which is in the mid-tier, it's mid to low tier, you actually moved it into mid, and now you have a program that's in the high tier. What changes did you have to create in yourself?
Ooh, such a good question.
To get to the high tier offer?
Yeah. So first of all, I had to invest heavily in myself, right? So I have had to invest, so 60, so $110,000 in coaching in the past year. So that I had to put my money where my mouth was. I had to say, I'm going to be the kind of person that I'm going to ask my clients to be, right? I got to eat my own dog food. I got to walk the walk. I can't just talk the talk, right? Because it's inauthentic. So you can never, you know, it's funny, like salespeople who have a problem selling high ticket stuff are people who've never invested in themselves high ticket, right? If they actually are consistently investing in themselves, they've got no problem asking for that kind of money, because they understand the transformation it takes. When you look, I'll never forget who I had to become to join my first high ticket program.
Yes.
I literally had, it was before I launched OGAC. I had $1,000 extra disposable that I could invest in coaching. Called up Liz, Benny's wife, who was doing her screenings at the time. And I was like, yeah, I want to be in Liz Benny's coaching program. And she's like, okay, great. The deposit is $10,000. I was like, I'll have $10,000. She's like, okay, that's all right. We can take $1,000 deposit. I was like, oh, you're good. And she's like, and you know, you'll make up the difference. And you know, we'll talk in a week. And I'm like, okay, got a week to make $9,000. That's fine, no problem. Sure. Got it. Yeah. No sweat. I hung up the phone. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, like I freaked out. But it was perfect. It was perfect because guess who had to grow? Guess who had to stretch? Guess who had to launch her thing and go up as somebody worth following and worth, you know. And the crazy thing was, not only did I make that $9,000, but inside of 2 weeks, I made the entire cost of the program in 2 weeks. So my year was paid. It was like, what? And that was a $50K, right? I was just like, I never made that kind of money in my life before. I mean, it was astounding, right? And so this was the kind of transformation that only would have happened, you know, or only happened because I made a commitment that was so much bigger than I knew how to fulfill. It was so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
And it was so scary. And when you know, one of my favorite quotes is, throw your heart over the fence and the rest will follow. And I threw my heart over the fence and I had to figure out how the rest was going to follow. Right. And so when you do that, it's amazing how heaven and earth and you yourself move to make it happen. Right. You move. So that's what happened. And then once again, you know, Andrew Cruzy's Tribe of Buyers came along and I knew he had something that my team needed. We needed some team structure, some team building, some operations stuff, all of it. And I said, okay, we're going to do it. And so $60,000 later, another commitment, you know, and again, that was I had a little more money at that time, but I didn't have any promise of future revenue. I didn't have any promise of any, like, it was still horrifyingly scary to do it, right? Okay. But I did it.
Oh God. So Alex, first and foremost, like, I want to jump out of my skin right now because I can relate to every single one of these stories and at every single point. For me, at the time when I signed up for OGAC, the first one, that's when it was $100. I did not have the $100, right? But I really wanted to do the program. Yeah. So at the time, Corey Gulick went live and said, hey, if you sign up with me, we can do an exchange. And I think he was given like a $50 scholarship. So I
Yeah.
wound up coming in with the $50, got inside of the community. You started talking about Andrew, honest to goodness, right? You're talking about this Andrew Cruzy guy.
Yeah.
And you shared some of his posts in your program. I'm like, okay, let's check out Andrew. Tribe of Buyers came along. Just before Tribe of Buyers, I jump on the call with Grant, who, by the way, I interviewed too. It was so awesome.
Grant's wonderful. I love him.
He's just amazing.
Yes.
And within that time, I needed to make a down payment. It was like a $1,500 down payment. Alex, I didn't have the money. But he asked me a powerful question. He said, how can you make it happen?
That's it. It's not if,
How?
it's always how. And you can, with that simple word change, you can completely, on the one hand, understand someone's mindset and frame of seeing the world. If they say, oh, no, I don't have that kind of money. Instead of, how could I make that kind of money? Right? Like that's a whole different way of seeing the world and opening possibility where possibility didn't exist before, simply because of the way you asked the question versus made a statement, right? So it's a filtering mechanism for understanding somebody's world, but it's also a mechanism that he used to change your world.
Completely. So here's what, and this is also, so this quote, throw your heart over the fence. I'm making copious notes here. throw your heart over the fence and the rest will follow. The rest here for me was the entire universe coming to back up this insurance policy that I was putting on myself. Here's it. A client project that had not been approved for months came through, and guess how much they paid?
$1,500. Just like that. The universe served you up exactly what you needed. It was honoring your commitment to yourself. It was honoring that act of courage, right? So powerful. So powerful. I love this.
So
I love this.
It's like
so amazing.
in all of these acts, there is great grace, because it's like this grace is given to us, but we have to make the move. And Alex, for everything that you have shared, you've made the move. You have taken the leap of faith in yourself, in your program, and then gone to the next step and level. So there are many women who listen to this. I believe there are also the men who love them who listen to this too. And I know that you are such a powerful magnet. Your attractive factor is extremely high, and I know it's because of the vibrational frequency that you've chosen to be on. But for someone who is not at that frequency, who's saying, I can't even fathom $100 right now, much less a high ticket program for 5,000, 10,000, 60,000.
Yeah.
What would you say to them in this moment as they're listening to you? They're like, Alex, I love this. And I want that. How do I get that?
Yeah. That's such a good question. And I think I'll basically share how things changed for me, because that's really all I can ever do is share from my own experience. So I had a very tortured relationship with money not that long ago. And my tortured relationship money went something like this. First off, I did not know that my parents were well off until I was about 15 years old. Mm-hmm. My understanding of our familial financial situation was that we were poor my whole life. Why? We were not allowed to eat out. We never got new clothes. We always had to go to Salvation Army to get our clothes growing up. I always got made fun of. My backpacks had holes in them and my mother would sew them. Like, I'm talking, we did not have nice things. We lived in very modest housing. Like, everybody had nicer stuff than me. And I just figured, okay, we're poor. Like, that was that. I remember wanting to go to a certain school and they told me, you're going to have to get a scholarship to that school. Like, we're not paying for that. We can't pay for that. And so my understanding of life was from a paradigm of lack my whole life. Mm-hmm. Found out when I was 15 that the reason my parents lived like that is they were investing in real estate. So every penny they had went into real estate. So we were cash poor, but they actually had assets. Never knew that. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting, but it very much formed my relationship with money. And so I was always very frugal, I wouldn't spend on myself. I mean, and I had those habits up until probably still working on them to some degree today. Mm-hmm. So that's the backdrop for this. But I began to realize that I had some money issues, and I began to realize my own conversations around money were like, oh, I can't believe, I could never charge that. Like, that's crazy. I just, ugh, no, who's going to pay that for me? Like, I don't know. I would just feel bad. And I don't know. And what am I actually doing there? I'm taking my own programming and my own stories about money, and I'm projecting them onto everybody else out in the world, right? And what do we know about everybody in the world? We know that they're all different. They all have differing levels of resources, different access, different levels of resourcefulness, right? They all this different stuff. And so in my naivete, or in my programming, I was actually exhibiting a lot of hubris, a lot of pride, and saying my story about money is everybody's story about money, when that's not actually true, right? So I went on a quest to kind of heal my relationship with money. And there's two books that were pivotal, absolutely like life-changingly pivotal for me. Number one, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I have listened to that book on Audible probably 4 or 5 times. What an incredible book. If you've never listened to it and you have an issue with money, like, run, don't walk. Just get the book. It's hysterical, number one. And number two, highly effective, and don't skip the exercises at the end of every chapter. Don't skip them. I have a notebook full of all the things I wrote in that exercise. I keep it in my desk and I pull it out sometimes and read it. What a powerful book. Like, just so powerful in terms of changing the conversation inside of you about money. Number two, The Soul of Money. It's by a lady, I think, named Lynn. I'm going to get it wrong. Lynn Fisher or Lynn something. Lynn Teich. I don't know. I can't remember her last name, but it's called The Soul of Money. Also, incredible book that will heal your relationship with money. So those two books, just foundational, so powerful. Then, now this is going to sound a little woo-woo and crazy for y'all, but that's okay. If y'all don't mind getting down with a little woo-woo.
Please, go woo-woo.
I'm going to go woo-woo on you guys. So I began this quest of like hypnosis and meditation. And I started doing all these hypnosis sessions on, like, they have free hypnosis sessions on YouTube about money. And I'd do these like really intense money hypnosis sessions. They'd be like an hour and a half long. And I'd be like freaking levitating and stuff. I'm like, oh, they're filling my head with like all these subconscious thoughts about money. And it was amazing. It was like, amazing. It began to, at a fundamental subconscious level, reprogram the way in which I thought about money. Right. And so that's extremely powerful. I began to listen to like Abraham Hicks and her meditations and guided meditations and just her teachings, Joe Dispenza. And so it was through about a year and a half of like just intentional, conscientious, daily morning work on my money mindset that I began to, now I am of the firm belief that I am a magnet for money, that money flows easily and effortlessly to me and through me, that, there is more than enough money for me and everyone else in this earth. And it's just, my job is to attract it. My job is to match the frequency of that money and let it flow. That is my only job. That's it. And when you can come from a poverty mindset of like, money doesn't grow on trees, we don't spend on frivolous things, we don't, like, that's not who we are. I grew up all like Presbyterian and, conservative and so when you grow up like that, to end up like this is really radical. And so, but it doesn't happen by accident, guys. It happens by design. You've got to intentionally work on your relationship with money. So that's what I'd say. It's my long answer.
Okay. So I love it. There were so many sound bites there. My editor is going to have a good time with this because we actually do take sound bites out. This is beautiful. Alex, I want the world to know about you. I really do want the world to know about you and to know about your message and to just understand the power of transformation, because you are transformation. You are the miracle. Standing in front of us. It's not like you're telling us something. Yeah, but hear what happens though. This isn't some theoretical BS. What you have shared with us today is your actual life story. And you're still in the midst of the transformation. And you share it with such power and conviction, authenticity. So please tell us where we can find you, where we can get more about Alex.
Thank you. Probably the very single best place to come hang out is I mentioned it before, my Facebook group. It's called Digital Marketing Hacks for Online Entrepreneurs. And I know that's a mouthful, so we'll do that again. Digital Marketing Hacks for Online Entrepreneurs. you take that little acronym, we lovingly call you guys the DM hoes. And that's where we hang out. That's kind of the center of my universe. It's where all my peeps are. And, you know, it's how we stay in touch, how we commune with one another. And I'm a firm believer that now more than ever, with all the chaos going on in the world, community is core. Community is central. We need one another. We need one another. We need to stay close to one another, support one another. Our network is our net worth. And in these times where everybody's kind of shrinking, as leaders, it is our job to lean in. It is our job to expand, not contract, to connect. As E.M. Forster said in the book, you know, The Remains of the Day, connect, only connect. That is our job. And so connect with one another, look for opportunities for win-win-wins, serve each other's people, serve each other, you know, so all of that is possible and more as we continue to connect with one another. So I'd love to connect with you guys as well.
I cannot wait for your book, right? I can't wait for your book. I just like, do you have all these quotes that just come out? Tell me a little bit about gethighticketleads.com. Can I also follow there?
How do you even know about that? That's funny. That's very funny. I'm like, wait, how do you know about this? This is very funny. Wow. Okay. So that website is not actually operational just yet. I think it's very interesting that you know about that website. There's only one other person on earth who knows about it. So I know that it had to come from him, which I love. So the website that you could find me at, that is the precursor to that one until it's done, is organicsalesmachine.com. And that's basically where we are training people how to leverage the power of their social media profile and turn it into this incredible magnet to generate unlimited leads and sales for whatever business they have, high ticket, low ticket. You know, I'll tell you, while I am a firm believer in high ticket premium offers, because I believe that it allows both the coach to show up in a different way and the client to show up in a totally different way, right? Like both are so deeply committed to one another and to the process that they're undergoing together. I also believe there's very much a place for mid-ticket. There's very much a place for low ticket. I think low ticket is this wonderful opportunity for people to get a really great taste of what it's like to consume your content, to work with you, to like just be in your world. And also it's allowing them to qualify themselves as someone who's interested, who's actually a buyer, not a tire kicker, right? So low ticket is this wonderful opportunity. It's a dance. It's the both of you doing the dance. It's you going, hey, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I do. Come into my world. And them going, yeah, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm totally down. Let's do the dance, right? So that's low ticket. Yeah. And then you ascend to mid ticket and you go, hey, let me serve you some more. And I'm going to serve you in such a way that it doesn't take a whole lot of my personal time, but I did put a whole lot of love and time and energy into this asset that I created for you, and it's going to help you, right? And then at the highest, most premium level that takes your actual time, which, newsflash, the only real valuable resource that you have, right? Yeah. So at high ticket, the thing that takes the most time should also naturally then cost the most money, right? Because it is your life. Time is just another word for life, right? If it takes your time, it's taking your life, right? So that's the most valuable resource you have, and you need to treat it as such. And that's why at the higher levels, there's more life force being used and more value exchange happening. So yeah, so organicsalesmachine.com will allow you to learn how to, that was awesome. I didn't see that one coming.
It was like, just everything, the summary of the use of the value ladder, just everything. Yeah. Guys, you do want to connect with Alex. You do want to find her. You do want to buy her products because she puts so much love into it. I consider myself absolutely honored to have had my journey just intersect with yours.
I feel the same.
I'm so thrilled. Alex, I can't thank you enough for being here, for showing up the way you always do, which is like a supernova.
Takes one to know one, my friend. You're a bright shining star. I've said that from the minute you crossed my radar. I was like, who is that?
Oh gosh, yeah. So thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping me in the multiple ways.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for being here on Marketing Launch Radio. Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's an honor, and I'm so excited. And congrats for the podcast.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this, then you're probably in one of two scenarios. Either you're a woman with a great talent who's ready to launch your personal brand but isn't quite sure how to take the next step, or you're running your own business, you've got some marketing happening, ads going, and content. Maybe you've even got an agency, but things aren't clicking just right, and you're trying to tie all the pieces together. Well, if you want my help or just want to get an idea of what it's like to work with me, then just go to unlockyourbrandnow.com. I believe in simplifying marketing and making it a process that's very, very easy. But I'm also on a mission to help every woman that I can launch her personal brand or her business brand in 21 days or less. So go to unlockyourbrandnow.com and go check it out.